All right, everyone, we are live now. And thank you so much for joining in to the series of WAPJ, WSM, and WAPM. So these are the three departments who are working around different um, conversation where advocacy is needed, where you need to understand how community actually works, how you can sustain the community in a most peaceful way, and how you can see um, how the things are turning around for you. Okay. So for now, we have few things to discuss tonight. But before that, I want to ask you, can you see the screen? All right. So today's topic is advocacy, policy influence, storytelling for change. You see, whenever we talk about policies, advocacy, society, cultural norms, community interest, some of us gets very reluctant to talk about it because it's quite overwhelming to put us into that situation where we have to understand more which is happening around us. It takes more from us to understand not just present, but how the sequence is running around us through a great period of time. Okay, so it really does train us and it really make us think, what's happening around us. Okay, but many of us are very brave enough to understand the gap in the society, the gap within the community that they are operating their lives, and also trying to judge exactly, is that common norm what's going on around us is going to benefit them for a longer period of time or not. So those of you who are still advocating without understanding what advocacy is voicing up. You are not being quiet. Either you're using your voice or you're writing in order to highlight what's unjust, what's not right. So these are the brave individuals who are thinking about not just for themselves, but their offsprings, the generation to come. And they know exactly how can these words benefit in a longer run and how it will damage the society as a whole if they try to stay quiet. Okay. So you have heard a lot of words like this: ignorance, carelessness, chaos. So these all starts when you stop observing what's unjust within your home, in your neighborhood, in a community as a whole. Keeping religion and politics aside, what is the cultural norm, the mindsets, what's running around us, the common advocacy of living a life. Okay. Then, by understanding this, what's right, what's wrong, you have heard a lot from our mentors that we are talking about how we can fill the gap. The step number one, that is how you are observing it. Number two, how you can make influence or shed the light around it, and how you can storytell for better change. Okay, so let's move towards a little bit what we're going to do in this short period of time. Okay. We are going to understand what are the keywords. It's very technical, but what's the real meaning behind it? How are we going to brainstorm or map the idea, the objectives, and how if you are willing to take it to the next level and be the change maker, what should be your preparation in order to reach the right individuals? Okay, and how you can craft that 1 minute pitch, and how you can take CTA, that is call to action, in with your capacity. Okay, so these are something we're going to do, and I would like to take you to the concepts first. I tried my best to make a note in such a way that whenever you open this note, you know exactly what the key terms is all about and what you need to do. So you don't need to go through a complete um, uh, curate to understand what you need to do, but you need to see what are the key areas that the individual see, the community observes, and how any NPO, any NGO, or any influencer works around that. Okay, it's not a rocket science, it's very easy, and we can definitely do that. Okay, somebody is messaging me, just a second. Okay, that's good. Okay. So advocacy is very simple. That is taking purposeful action to improve a decision, behavior, or policy. Simply a gap, something that you feel like that's not right. I don't like it. You think about it. Why don't you like it? Is this your personal opinion or genuinely it's not just? Okay. So you need to see the morality and ethical position of that particular set of problem that you're going to advocate about. That's step number one, that you really want to change it. Okay. Then the number two concept is policy influence, that you will read a lot in United Nations words. You can see a lot of ambassadors talking about it. You can see a lot of other nonprofit organizations highlighting it with the help of country reps, with the help of members of the community. So what is that about? Who are they actually? So they are the ones first, they are genuinely advocating about it at the grassroots levels, these policy influencers, and how you can become one when you become a force of voice, a force of your community in order to reach the decision makers, to make better choices for the community. So every country has their own system, governing system. So you have to see where the bureaucracy runs around your city, your rural area, your urban area, how it's designed, and who are the local members who are representing it, and where the voices collectively go. Is that the mayors or the ministers? You have to see. Okay. So advocates are the leaders who are voicing up for the community. Policy influencer are the advocates who are working on grassroots levels, but they actually influence and help decision makers, bureaucrats, to make right decision for the community. All right. And number three concept, storytelling and evidence, helping decision makers to make better choices for the community. How? People connect with people. So you are the voice of the individuals who are having injustice. They're becoming a voice of them. Okay. So here you're talking to the right people. Storytelling and evidence, you are connecting with the real life experience to the decision makers to make the right decision for the community. Okay, you are providing them proof, you're taking them there. All right. And lastly, how are you going to process it? Problem, you will highlight the problem, you will place the evidence to the decision maker, you will ask what is needed, and you will have solution while involving with the decision maker. You will use different, you will advise them or give them certain set of solution where they can come up with proper solution for the community. So this is all the dry part of the process when you try to highlight issue. Okay. And since social media is so easy for us to highlight every problem you can voice up. So what the steps you will take over here, it will actually gives you respect because you're reasoning with in the right way. You're not becoming a noise, but you're becoming a voice of individuals who are needing to be highlighted. Okay, so let's move towards the next step. This is something I forget to tell you. You must know who are the local representative of your governing body. Okay, you must know. And I'm sure everybody knows from the society. Okay, so when you know the problem, you have to reach towards the decision maker. Okay, so there are three levels: community, influencers, and decision maker. Understand that. Community itself is a stakeholder. Why? Because they are the one in charge. not the decision maker. Understand that. So if you are representing community, if you are highlighting them, and you become a grassroots level for the ones who are making decision for your community in that nation. So understand that if it was not important, these decision maker would never be there to come to ask people in the community to give them chance to represent them. So it's a cycle of power. So in the way, influencer play a very important role, a catalyst between community and the decision maker in order to balance that power in the community. If the influencer, who are the advocates on ground, they tend to ignore the problem and they do not voice up, then the society itself decays with time, with the ethical point of view first, and then on the moral grounds. What happens that we adjust ourselves with bare minimum we are getting in the form of human right decisions. We are okay with it. We make part of a mindset. We appreciate that mindset, and then it becomes part of a cultural norm, which is very dangerous. Okay, so you, as an influencer advocate, know that you are the catalyst in order to bring the level of community and a decision maker. Okay, so let's me take you to the next point where you can understand. This is one of the example I have placed it because this is one of the most common problems still running in South Asian country, in North Africa, in East Africa. It's there. And when you highlight even the Middle Eastern countries, those who are not part of metropolitan cities, they are having these problems too. But it's it's something which is not being highlighted because it's part of it. It's very common, okay? But mostly you can see it in the South Asian and African countries. So one of the problem I have highlighted over here is that from those regions is female do not opt to go to school when they have menstrual cycle. It's very common. They do not go to school. They opt to stay at home because they don't have enough facility in order to accommodate them during that cycle to operate normally. All right. So this is something hindering female education for a very long time. And since for a very long time, we are not being able to successfully eliminate by highlighting and giving the resources, it's become a habit or a cultural thing that if the girl is experiencing menstrual cycle, they opt to do, stay at home. It's become normal for them. Okay, so what's happening? The girl is not continuing the cycle of education like everybody else is doing. She's having a gap. So this is something you can sense that since for a very long time we have make it a habit. Okay, we are not going to fill it. It's just something for a week. It's not a big thing. We do not take it seriously. Now we are genuinely fighting towards that mindset that we have to take this issue seriously, and we are not able to highlight it because it's become a common norm. So this happens when you ignore some problem for a very long time and you do not put your effort. It becomes difficult for the generation today to eliminate that. It takes very long cycle. Okay. So what happens with taking this problem, taking this background of the problem, um, advocates, the influencers, the friends of the community, all right, they always take way out, try to find the resources, accommodate them in order to fill this gap. Okay. Decision makers, people with the authority to approve change something. So the problem is that it's always been a problem to approve a budget. The yes and no we always need because the resources is in control of the decision makers because they claim they have the resources to facilitate you and you need to win the grounds that certain set of resources should be used over such matters that you're highlighting. And it's a very long process to make them understand. Please know that decision makers themselves are the common breed of the mindset that very culture grows with it. So you have to win and make the person understand looking at their mindset. So again, it's the game of psychology and it's the game of a cultural perspective mindset where you need to keep educating everybody as an advocate. So this is the community level engagement, looking at the problem, one of the problem, and then how you're going to talk to them, how you will, as an advocate, how you're going to talk to the community, and as an advocate, how you're going to talk to the decision maker. Okay? So now we are going to take only one simple framework as a commoner, as a common person who is trying to highlight the issue at different levels, connecting different, layers of the society. PISA, problem, impact, solution, ask. This is the simplest form of framework for storytelling if you're advocating any problem. And today's problem we have taken is girls are skipping school for a very long time because of their menstrual cycle, because they don't have enough resources to facilitate them to get a regular education. They try to skip school and it damages their routine, learning routine. Okay, so if we take that example to PISA framework, so what is the problem? Many girls in our school miss classes because they don't have menstrual supplies. So when you are using storytelling, you're not going to use words which are difficult to understand. You have to keep it as simple as possible, as humanly simple as possible. Genuine words. What is the problem? That's it. Number two, impact. Who is affected and why it matters? This causes them to fall behind in studies and feel stressed. Stressed is not just one sided. If you look into this problem, it's not just I'm going to miss a lot of learning and I have to work a lot when I join back school, but it's also stressing them because society is not understanding this huge gap. We have normalized this. For individuals like them, it's a stress from the other hand side too. Okay? Solution, your proposed way to fix the problem. We propose the school provide free menstrual kits next term. And when we demand such thing, understand that. If you're demanding anything from any organization, if you're part as an employee, you're working somewhere, understand that every organization, registered organization, has to submit CSR, community, corporate social responsibility towards the community. They have to give back to the community. So if they are not understanding that they have to balance the way out in the name of NPO, NGO, humanitarian ground they are giving back. But if they see the common norm is not being practiced in the schools, in the hospitals, in your bank, in your corporate world, it's a problem. It's a very, very big problem where you need to highlight that understanding CSR, which is part of the policy of every registered organization, if they are not looking towards solving the problem of the community, it's a big problem for them. If you read more about it, tax exemption and everything, so it's going to cost them a lot, but the community does not understand how the policy really works. So we don't touch the CSR department of any organization. We don't even know if there is counsel in the name of CSR, any advocate sitting within the organization in the form of, consultant. So you need to do your homework of your organization where you are at, or you see the gap. Please advise them. It's not going to good for the organization itself. So it's easier for them to understand the proposed solution from your end. Okay, so this is something you need to do a sneaky way to understand how you can tam the organization. Else, whenever you will be reaching for solution, they will be like, we will talk next time. It's not that important. We cannot do it right now. We are tight on budget. You will always hear it. Last step is ask your specific request. Can the school council approve a small budget for this by next month? Told you indirectly in solution that every organization, registered organization, have CSR. Read CSR, read the policy of CSR of your country, understand the tax system, how organizations have to pay back if they do not do certain set of activities for the community that they are operating in. It's a problem. Okay, so when you are advocating and try to make them understand, you need to be very crystal clear where the organization stands and how it's affecting them. And in a long run, if it's been highlighted, it's not going to be good. So when a person like me say, do the homework, so you need to do the homework this way. You need to understand how system really works. So if you're just speaking, fighting, raising your voice, it's going to be very impactful for a couple of minutes, or maybe half an hour if you're standing or sitting in the office. After that is just a vague conversation. It's of no use. All right. So this is the reality on ground. So over here, any problem till now? Any problem? No problem? Big problem? Just do thumbs up so that I can move on with the next slide. So now I want you to take out your notebook, and I want you to just write down, what do you think, what is the most common community issue that you have in your surrounding? Just pick one problem. What is that problem? When you write it down, do thumbs up or write yes so that we can move towards the next step. Have you write down the problem? Any one problem in your society which is normally done and is quite normal and you want to change it? Just one problem, please. Thank you so much for thumbs ups. All right, so now we're moving to a step 2. So you have to first find out the individual who is working around that problem, or according to your governing body of the system, who is responsible for such issues. All right, once you know that individual, you need to understand how you can become that person's right guide. Okay, step number 2. So who can fix this problem? You need to find that out. And then Who can support you or guide you? Who can be your mentor? Do you have somebody that in the past they're working on it, or in the different region they're working on the same problem and you can take some guidance? Who can be your guide? Okay. Because if you can find guide for yourself, then you can be a right person to talk to the decision maker of your community. Okay. So this is step number 2 for you. All right. Number 3, this is what, I have learned a very hard lesson as well with time, that if you are advocating about one problem, you see many other different problems as well, and then you feel like talking about it too when you meet the right person. But if you decide to do something, you have to take one step at a time. If you go with so many problems to one individual, the person will listen to you, appreciate your homework, but won't be entertaining you for long term, because at the governing body, it's a system. They have the time limit and the resources, or maybe the way that they're comfortable with to work on. So take one objective always. For example, Chiro says that early childhood marriage. This is one of the objectives that she is discussing with the right individuals, any ministry, a district, attorney who's working around that problem. And then she is going to ask how she can pressurize the community to look into early childhood marriages, and the one who are doing so, how we can highlight them, how we can stop them legally. Okay, so that should be the one request for them. Okay, so one step. So when you're working at one problem, believe me, when you step into the field and you're advocating it, you will see so many subcategories under that particular set of one objective that you have chosen. So you would be on paper highlighting one issue, but when you reach on ground, on field, you will be working with many sub stories, sub situations that leads toward that particular set of problem, that is early childhood marriage. Okay, so one action will lead to highlight many different scenario, hidden scenario. But it's better when you're having conversation, when you're proposing, when you're pitching your community gap, it should be one objective. Okay, one action only. Mm. Okay, now we're moving to us next step. All right, so this is very much clear, that clarity before action. You must know exactly what you're dealing with. Do your homework, one step only, so that you are taking seriously, not an emotional person who is filled with so many things inside them and just they want to talk. If you just highlight one problem and you're determined that you're going to work on this with them, they will take you seriously. Okay. So when you are talking, or you are documenting, or you are preparing the society to listen to you, since social media has made things very easy, but social media has made things very difficult to make the community understand what you're talking about, because they have so many options to move on to. So you have to make sure that the attention time span in the social media is not more than 10 seconds. 10 seconds in itself, I'm telling, a lot of time. So you have to choose words very direct, very meaningful, easy to understand, so that within 1 minute, your conversation is clearly understood by everybody. Okay, so there's an opening, then you state problem, solution, and then you ask. So the thing that is mentioned over here, you see, we are not giving more than 10 seconds under each category. So you have to choose the wise word and easy words which make them understand. Okay, so I want you to understand this thing. When there's an opening line, this one of the example, Remember the menstrual cycle? Every month, 50 girls at our school miss class because they don't have menstrual supplies. So when I'm reading it, it's less than 10 seconds. Then be specific what about is affected, why it matters. I understand this and it needs fixing. So when you clearly say that this is the problem in my community school, and these are the girls suffering, and we need to find a way in order to facilitate them. Okay. So when you choose very humanly conversational words, if I'm listening to it, I will connect to it. If somebody in the childhood, they have faced the same problem, that individual will stop and listen to the next point that you're making. So you have to make it very simple. And please understand that not everybody would take interest in your problem, but there are certain set of segments, people who have been through it, facing it, will stop and listen to it. So do not say that, oh, I'm not getting 100 like. But I always say when you look into algorithm, see how many people are listening to you. What is the duration, span they are listening to you? How many people you have reached? You have to look at the comments and look at the reach of your page. How many of people agree with you? Okay, so this is something really matters. So likes will not make you reach over there, but involvement in the conversation. Solution we propose, the school council provide free menstrual kits next term. So you are highlighting a very main area that school itself should take responsibility of those 50 girls who are coming to them from the community to learn. They must facilitate them. Okay. By hearing this, common person do not understand why you are highlighting this. Okay. But you can also explain in next conversation the concept of CSR and giving back to the community, understanding the community. Okay, so this is something you are highlighting without telling them about the CSR policy, but you are taking them there. Okay, then will the school council approve a trial budget of $300? It can be $300, $100, depending on the community. You know your budget in the your economy. What is the price of that menstrual kit, and how much would it take it? So when you are requesting the council organization for the budget, you will not take the money. The council itself is responsible to provide those resources for a certain number of individuals that you are observing they are missing. They take the responsibility, and as an advocate, you are the responsible to monitor them if they're facilitating them or not. So please, in advocacy, do not always believe that you will have money in your hand, but you will have the supervision in your hand if it's happening or not. And lastly, with your help, these girls can stay in school and succeed. That means you want community approval and involvement in order to create pressure so that the people take the right decision towards this problem. So whatever problem that you state, everybody, it can be anything. It can be water. It can be toxic relationship. It could be your practices. Maybe there's a biasness in society where they believe there's a gender differences towards certain activities. Okay, maybe in decision making that you are not being heard. There is a lot of problem going on around us where we feel like, it has become a norm of a society, which is not right. So you need to choose that one objective, and then you need to dig into conversation in which you are building community around you who understand or who have been gone through this injustice. They want to be part of change. So this is the idea behind it. Okay. So this is one of the example I've placed over here, some social media AI prompt where you can use Chat GPT and you can use this AI prompt and you can come up with some, lines. And these are one of the example I've placed over there. But please, you can use AI to assist you in your ideas to come live, but AI cannot give you ideas. It does not work that way. AI is there to assist you, make your brainstorming, your idea, the map in a much meaningful way to elaborate the steps. But it will not give you a complete guidance if you don't have idea behind it. Okay, so that's why I said you need to jot down the problem, your experiences, what you have felt, what you're observing, and then have conversation with AI in order to place the right words, know the limit in order to make sure that you are not over exceeding the time. If you're putting the information, there's not a lot of information where people do not tend to agree with you and continue with you. Okay. So I really, really hope that when you reach the people who are responsible too, okay, so you know exactly what you're talking about, you know the right individuals. One of the things that I have learned throughout 2 decades of my experience is that people tend to believe that the higher hierarchies are the ones who will help you in getting your proposal accepted. It's not always the C-suited individuals. The key individuals for you to work with are the ones who are bridging the higher level to the grassroots level in people. So you need to find the middle person and then you have to have conversation with them. So please, when I say do not waste your energy, and especially when you are looking for um, work as an independent consultant for your community, and you're looking for grant or funding from your government, and you promise that you will make things easier for them in a lower budget, in a much efficient way, in order to fulfill the mission of their governing body for 3 years, for 2 years, for 5 years. I don't know what is the system of your region. So if you are not highlighting to the right individuals, you will have rejection. Okay? So you need to find your ally. That means people who have already worked it before. If you don't know, if you cannot find the people, I would really request you to get into organization in your community as a volunteer to understand how your system work. Quietly observe how the system work. You don't need to announce anything. Just see what the system is all about and how, if the system is difficult, how you can make system um, malleable for you in order to uh, facilitate you what you propose them. So these are the small steps. I would really, really, really um, request you to please look into so that you are not draining yourself and getting disappointed what I'm up to and what I'm doing. So you must be very vigilant of the individuals what you're working on. Okay. Gather evidence, design your ask, clear request, your timeline. Okay. Plan execution. You cannot do everything on your own. You must have your people around you. You must have a group of people who can support you. It's important. Even if you start with a TikTok, Instagram page, YouTube page, that you are educating your community about certain issue that you want to highlight and you want to take over it for a longer period of time. You must have a support system around you who can take care of different responsibility while you're advocating it. So it's not one man job. It's a very, very um, difficult to do for one individual, because when it's about community, highlighting community, you need to have different individuals, different diversity, so that they understand the different diversion of mindset of the community to work on. Okay, so the pitch is again something that you need to look for, not more than 1 minute. What you in within 1 minute, what you need to focus on. These are the steps, all right? And please do not be vague. Do not say the general statement. You should be very specific that this is one thing I really work on. Do not give too much data. And if you have a conversation and you leave and do not get in touch with them to follow up, they will not remember you. And you need to make words very easy. The words very easy to communicate. You don't need to impress the society or the governing body with your complicated philosophical conversation. You need to be very direct so that they are part of the conversation and they are not overwhelmed. Okay? So, this is something I wanted to discuss with you because I really believe in one thing that if you are not in the right direction, if you're not understanding how to start the conversation and lead the way, you will not be taken seriously. And we have team of WSM and WPM with us, Women's Session Social Media, Women Ascension, um, Publishing and Media. These both department really work around how to put the content towards a visible highlighting pattern. Not just these two department of Women Ascension, but there are skills development, their community outreach. Every key person, especially core community, know exactly how to operate Canva. It's important. So if you're applying for a job, if you are watching for something, if you're working towards different project, even if you're just a project coordinator, project manager, if you don't know how to use digital skills towards highlighting the matter, you won't be a useful individual for that organization. So this is something you have to inbuild in yourself in order to sustain your position, sustain your personality, your voice in that system. Okay, so this is something I would request you can go through it, explore, give time, and highlight the issue. But if you are the individuals who defer to go any other way but to voice up, I would really, really request you to keep your voice very simple, very authentic, and very, very short. Okay, and many of you, like Shyam was here with us. She is working amazing in her society. We have Chido, we have Takam. These ladies are doing really, really great. And I have observed Lucy's work, um, that she is advocating in the digital platform again for voicing up for the cause. So you need to understand that these individuals are trying their best to highlight the unjust in the society. Okay. But many of us tend to stay quiet. But I would really request you that if anybody is working towards advocacy, make you work as planned. Make you work as planned. Do not be the noise, be the voice. It's important. And I really believe that if we do the homework, we can be a very good force of change for very, very long time. And apologies to my male participants, but I'm going to talk directly to the women. Please understand that women has intuition, women has understanding in a whole different level than that of male. We are very creative, very understanding, and we have something that we know about future which male don't understand that. Okay, this is something inbuilt in us. So if we as a woman tend not to mold ourselves in a way that we can be a voice for the future, believe me, then our future will be in a very, very dark state. So I would request each and every one of you, when you see unjust, okay, stop arguing with the people. All right, work in such a way, in such step that you leave a digital imprint towards your voice so that the system is taking your words in the algorithm and changing its way. So if you are screaming in the crowd, it's not going to help. If you are highlighting your voice in a proper step and keeping in a way that with time it grows, many voices agree with it, it's going to bring change. So you have to put your effort in the right way. Do not burn yourself. Do not burn yourself in the wrong direction. Just have patience, do your homework, and you will be on the winning ground really, really soon. Okay? The cycle of change needs time. And believe me, when you are a person of change, many of the people have not the courage to say it on your face that you are an amazing individual, but you leave some mark in their heart and mind that the change perspective of you, and they respect you in a good way. In a good way. Even if they take you as a challenge, that's a good way. And I really wish every woman take this as a trophy throughout their life. So fighting in a room is not good. Leaving a mark is very important. Okay. So this is all from my side. And if you guys have any problem, please let me know. If you have guys have any problem with Canva, using of Canva, um, want to know more about Canva. So your departments have done excellent job in designing Canva tutorial. They will send you the link and you can go to the YouTube link whenever you have time and you can explore it. So if you have more problem, you can reach out to us at the Ascension number, um, and then we can come up with one practice session where we can help you out. Okay, with Canva. Okay, okay. That's really great. Stefan, do share me your LinkedIn profile. I would like to go through your work. It's really exciting. Women Action for Sustainability and Justice. That's really great. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, do you have any question? Okay. So I'm going to read the chat box and I'm going to continue my conversation in the Zoom, but for the YouTube live, I'm disconnecting. Thank you so much for your time.